Good evening. I am so glad that you are joining us tonight. This webinar, this live event is designed solely for you guys out there who have recently been given a rejection letter. Just a word of encouragement, about 20% of the applicant pool every year are reapplicants, up to 20%. That's a lot. The people that are reapplying, the acceptance rate is low. The chances of not getting accepted is very high. And so we want you to listen in, because we believe that what we can show you tonight, the framework that we're going to provide you, it's worked for applicants that have gone through our program in the past, and it will set you up for success this time around to get what you want, to get your dream. So if you're reapplying this fall, you're in good company. There are many before you that have reapplied and have been successful after getting rejected the first time around. So I commend you. My heart goes out to you, because I know that, first of all, nothing worth doing ever comes without some sort of hardship or difficulty or things to overcome. It ain't easy. And I also commend you for your persistence that I believe the academies are going to see this time around. And hopefully, if we play this game right, you're going to have a different result. First thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to share mistakes that most reapplicants make. The second thing is we're going to show you the reapply framework, REAPPLY, and we got a point for each one of those. And then we're going to answer questions. So mistakes most reapplicants make, the reapply framework, and Q&A. Here we go. 3 mistakes that most reapplicants make. Number 1, this may surprise you, but they actually don't reapply. At first, they're dead set on reapplying, but over time, their interest wanes. They set foot on their college campus, time goes by, they procrastinate, they change their mind. They realize that they are the oddball of all their friends that are in college and are content, and they're swimming upstream, they get busy, and they never even complete their application. So that's mistake 1. They kind of lose sight of the dream. Mistake 2 is they do reapply, but they change nothing about their candidacy. Okay, they figure they should try again, but the strategy doesn't go beyond that. What else are you doing besides just reapplying? They don't have a clear answer to that question. And thus, they should expect the same result this time around if you do that. The third mistake that reapplicants make is they don't ask for help. The same knowledge that might have got you rejected this time around, or the same way of doing things, might lead to the same result this time. Okay, so it's going to take a different plan to get there. We're going to help give you that plan, regardless if you sign up with us. We're going to give away what we believe is the winning formula that in the proven playbook. Okay, so 3 mistakes are: 1, they actually don't turn in their application. Their interest wanes over time. They get distracted. 2, they don't change anything they don't build their candidacy. So they change nothing on their application. They don't do anything different. And 3 is they don't ask for help. So they fly solo through the whole process, even though it's the daunting, ridiculous process that it is. They don't ask for help, and they use the same knowledge that gave them a different result. You shouldn't expect a different result if you're going to do the same thing, right? That's the definition of insanity. Those are the mistakes most reapplicants make. Now, so what is the reapply framework? We're going to share it here. First is ROTC in college. Most young people don't know this, but if you didn't get an ROTC scholarship, you can still walk on to an ROTC detachment. You reach out to the ROTC unit, so where you're going to college. If not all of you got accepted to a college, it's May 1st. It's National College Decision Day. You should be putting down your deposit to reserve your seat in the class, regardless if you're on a wait list or not from an academy. Okay? Put down a deposit, go to college next year, and go to ROTC, and you can walk on in an ROTC detachment. If you got the scholarship, great. Then you know you're going to ROTC. Okay? Get into officer development training now. The single best way, and that's why it's point number 1 for the R, the single greatest way to improve your candidacy is to get in an ROTC detachment. Why? You will be undergoing officer development training. You'll not just be 1 year older, but you'll be 1 year sharper. And then there's some other hidden gems among that. Namely, you will also get access to another nomination source. ROTC nomination is another nomination in addition to your congressmen and senators. And also, you will get access to your ROTC commander to be a letter of recommendation for you. That's the triple whammy, all in one action step in ROTC in college. Do that and you will significantly put the chips on your side of the table. Second point, E, enroll in calc, chem, and physics. You don't have to do it all at once, but your freshman year should mimic the plebe curriculum or the first year curriculum at an academy. Take a full load, get in STEM classes. Here's the trick. Even if you're majoring in English or history or poli-sci, you still need to be taking STEM. So you can take 2 poli-sci classes, but then take calc and chem, and then take 2 more poli-sci classes your second semester and take physics and maybe something else, an English literature class where you're going to do a lot of writing. That mimics a plebe curriculum, and that will make sure that you are proving yourself worthy of an academy appointment by undergoing an academic rigor that where they can tell that if you excel, you will excel also your plebe year or your freshman year at the academy. Okay, you're trying to prove yourself worthy. So if you're trying to prove to them and remove all doubt that you can excel there. If you have a lower than, I would say, a 3.8 unweighted GPA, then your goal is to get all A's in college. That is going to be very difficult to do with ROTC on top of it, and with maybe relocating and being in a new environment where there's lots of social distractions. Okay, but that's what it's going to take to win. All right, so not just enroll in these classes, but get A's in these classes is going to be critical. Number 3, attempt the SAT or ACT again. If you scored below a 1400, you need to take it again. And you have the June SAT or the August SAT to do it. Or the ACT, you have July, you have June 8th, July, I think it's July 15th, and then you have September. I would not recommend taking SAT and ACT in October, November, and December, or not banking on that, even though you could. At that point, so engulfed in college curriculum, you won't have time to do well. I want you to spend SAT and ACT prep this summer before you go to college, winning the summer. You got to win the summer. That gets into one of the P's here. You got to win the summer, and part of winning the summer is SAT prep, and then take it again either in June or August, or both ideally, so you can super score. Take it again in July and September. I know what you're thinking. Whoa, I've already done this rigmarole. I don't want to have to do this again. If you want to get in this time around, it's one of the best things you can do. The first P is pursue the right recommenders. You're going to have to refresh your recommender list, and ROTC staff is a great one. Calc and Chem professors are great ones to utilize. If you ask your junior year teacher in high school, you can ask your senior year teacher. Okay, you can't reuse the same recommender from last year, but you can refresh that list, all right, with your math and English teacher and your optional recommenders. So recommender strategy is your professors. If you know that you're going to ask a Calc or Chem professor when you go through your, let's say you're applying to the Naval Academy, okay, and you have to get 5 letters of recommendation, 2 of them are mandatory for math and English. Let's say you asked your pre-calc teacher in high school. You can ask your calc teacher for 12th grade, or you can ask your calc professor in college. I would recommend 12th grade because they know you better and you're there now, and you can ask for it before you actually graduate high school. But start thinking about and even identifying on a grid. If you're not going to go with us, if you're going to go with us, then we're going to help you through that grid. Okay, but start getting very organized on that, because you want to get as much done over the summer as you can, including reaching out to local recommenders in the area before you even leave for college. That's the biggest win. And that actually leads us to the second P, which is plan your summer wisely. Most of your bandwidth is going to be this summer, even though I know all of your friends are going to be having a blast, and I want you to do that too. In a small amount of time, I want you to do some of that, but then it's back to work. Okay, no problem taking 1 week off, right, this summer. But if you got 12 weeks, 11 of those weeks you better be working at this stuff. Okay, most bandwidth occurs in the summer. When you get to the fall, forget about it. It's too busy to rely on. Just imagine that September, October, November, December don't even exist. The only thing you're going to use those months for are finalizing any DODMERB issues if you had them. DODMERB, by the way, is good for 2 years. So if you got qualified, you don't need to get re-qualified this time around. So everyone can say, whew, Now, if you didn't get the waiver this time around, then you're going to need to fight for the waiver next time around. So you're going to need to have refreshed medical paperwork proving that you can be medically qualified this time. If you were qualified, the only thing they might ask you for is a present health questionnaire at PHQ. Should be really quick. Go on the top of the DODMERB file, and that's it. Okay, but if you're going through the waiver process, you're going to need to go through that again, because waivers are only good for the year that which you apply. Okay, so back to this. Plan your summer wisely. Most of your bandwidth occurs over the summer, so don't waste the opportunity. Plan out every week of your summer, starting with all the obligations you already have. So you actually want to start with, this is the day I'm leaving for college, not the day that class starts. This is the day I move in, and that's the day Travis is telling me I need to forget about that. That doesn't even exist anymore. Every day after that, every day after driving to where I'm going to move into, or even packing, you can forget about it. Okay. You're planning on getting most of your stuff done before you leave for college. Okay. So now backing up from there, let's say you move in, or you're starting to pack up on August 1st. Okay. That means June and July, all 8 weeks of it. And right now it's May 1st. So May, June, and July, all 12 weeks should be charted out from the day you graduate high school until the day you move out of your house. Every single week, every single day should be charted out on what you're doing. Okay. I'm going to take the SAT 2 more times. These are the times I'm going to take the SAT and ACT. These are the times I'm going to do my essays. These are the recommenders I'm going to ask and when I'm going to ask them by, etc. All of that. Okay. That's number 5, and that's critical. Critical piece. Number 6, liaison officers. So your liaison officers can be up to 10% of your admission score. What your BGO or your ALO or your field force rep think of you is huge. Tell them right now that you're going to reapply. Go reach back out, send them an email, reintroduce yourself, and let them know you're dead set on reapplying and you would like feedback. Some of them might even ask you to go out for coffee. Take that opportunity to reaffirm your identity as a solid officer candidate. Be professional, be passionate. Treat it like the interview before the interview, since they're going to interview you again this fall. You want to be higher up on their list, their top 1% or top 5% ranking, that this fall you can get a stronger push into academy admissions. That's huge. Build that rapport now. And number 7, the last one, the why, is remember your why, understand why you didn't get accepted. So there's 2 points to this. One is remember your why. Remember why you're reapplying. Remember why you started this journey in the first place. It's so critical. You can't transfer into the academy, so you're going to be a plebe. You're going to be redoing freshman year. So you go to college freshman year, you're going to be starting back from scratch. Why do you want to go back and start over again by doing it as a plebe or as a freshman? That's hard, right? There's going to be some sacrifices you're going to have to make, and this is going to push you for when it gets tough. All academy applicants hit a breaking point, and all reapplicants will hit a breaking point too. What is going to keep you going? Write that down and put it up on your mirror. When you're brushing your teeth, look at it every day. Second is understand why you didn't get accepted the first time around. Have a strategy to combat that. If it was SAT, if it was GPA, was it medical? Was it fitness? Was it essays and interviews? Whatever it was, have a strategy and understand the why. That should frame everything you do. That should make the rest of the reapply framework make sense. So understand why you didn't get accepted the first time. That requires self-awareness and maybe even some feedback from liaison officers. Or if you do a discovery call with us, feedback from us, we'd be glad to tell you, or feedback from admissions officers, whatever it is, or just an honest look and an honest hot wash, so to speak. Look back at the whole year, reflection with your parents and with your team of advisors and saying, what went wrong? What was it this time that didn't make it work for me? That is the reapply framework. At this point now, guys, we'll offer up one thing. We'll offer up, we are available to you to take the next step if that's something you'd like to do. We have workbook and strategy. We'd love to talk to you about that and put something together. We have a package that we think works to get you to win this time around. We're a coaching services coaching company. We have 83% success rate. Very proud of that. 100% of our folks have earned congressional nominations throughout the years, ROTC scholarships, etc. So if that's you, you can click it and take the next step to get on our calendar so that I can meet you and we can talk strategy about getting your dream this time around. Second is we want to open it up for questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. Hi, Janelle asks, how do you explain a bad grade senior year? What was the grade and what was the class? So specifically, I can tell you, it depends on which academy you're applying to. So there's an optional essay in the USAFA application. I should say it's not optional. It's the question 3, which is basically tell us anything you'd like to tell us that you haven't already told us. It's an open-ended question. That's an opportunity to explain that in the essay if you wish. There's also an opportunity in the Naval Academy essay, short answer essays to talk about extenuating circumstances. That's a window of opportunity you can share. Sometimes there is no necessarily reason why or good reason, but if there is a reason and there is an extenuating circumstance, then that's where you would put it. You'd put it in one of those 2 essays. There's also some optional, you can actually write a personal statement and submit it to admissions. They would add it to your file, like just a 1-page personal statement PDF. If there was an extenuating circumstance or something that didn't fit neatly into an essay prompt, then you could do it that way, and you could email it to your regional admissions officer. I would also ask Janelle, if your son or daughter who's applying, if they're going to take that class as an AP class. So it was AP Calc. So you're taking the AP exam this spring. I'm guessing you're taking it this week or next week. If you were to get a 4 or 5, that would be a great story of resilience. We actually had a client a couple years ago who got a D in AP Calc, but there was an extremely extenuating circumstance for one. So we explained that in the USAFA essay number 3. And then secondly, he ended up getting a 4 on the AP Calc exam, which then helped explain the story of how he bounced back. So you want to be able to tell the story where it ends in a positive light. That would be the extenuating circumstance. Junior Olympics, that could be an extenuating circumstance as well. I would be interested to know the details on how long you were actually out for that. But hopefully we've answered your question there. The second question you asked was, should I have my teacher write something as well? That could be good. I don't know the specifics of your story. I could see a future where that could be plausible. That might even be more convincing than a personal statement, depending on what the commentary is. So I just want to give that disclaimer. Hey, Matthew. So if we had a DODMERB waiver denial, can we still walk on to ROTC? The answer is yes. You can still walk on to ROTC. DODMERB was only reviewing for scholarships. You would also have to check with your detachment, but as long as you are physically able, right? Obviously, if it was a shoulder injury or a knee injury where you couldn't even hack it in the PT. But DODMERB is reviewing for scholarships, right? They are a government steward of funds, and they're not going to award funds to people that they don't think can deploy and be in harm's way. But for walking on, it's a different story. It's a lot lower bar. You should not have an issue there. I wouldn't even expect it to come up necessarily, because there's no medical checklist usually that they're doing for these kinds of things. But if they are, you can be forthright about that. I doubt in most cases, I've never heard of a case where they denied an ROTC walk-on. Edward asked, will attending a community college be acceptable versus a 4-year? I applied to the Coast Guard Academy. We recommend 4-year if possible, but if you didn't get accepted to a 4-year, it was too late to get accepted for a 4-year. Community college would be the next bet. And you still want to take those same classes we were talking about, the chems, the calcs, the physics, to be able to align your curriculum as much as possible with a academy curriculum. Okay, so that's still going to be critical for you. A's are going to be critical for you. The other aspect of this is with a community college, you might not be able to walk onto an ROTC detachment near you. That's going to hurt you. So this is why we recommend a 4-year. One more question came in last minute. Jonathan, how strong would a fire cadet leadership position be for an application? You're talking about a junior firefighter? Junior firefighter is I would say medium level impact on the resume. So yeah, I would go for that. Try to secure that. Anything this spring semester you can secure. If you're in Boy Scouts and been senior patrol leader, get it. Right? If there's anything you can do before school gets out, try to get that. A lot of them, the ship has already sailed, but you're mainly looking at ROTC going forward. Phil, hi Phil. I understand the Academy Admissions Office will sometimes tell you why you didn't get in. You shouldn't bank on that. There's thousands and thousands, sometimes 10,000 people that get denied. And so their feedback is usually very generic. And sometimes they're not even allowed to tell you. Unfortunately, you can ask liaison officers for their opinions. You can ask regional admissions. I would just not have high expectations going into those meetings. But yes, you can ask. All right, Jonathan, you're a junior. You're 1 year ahead, my friend. This is for seniors that got rejected, but I'm glad you're getting after the leadership roles. Thanks for joining us, Jonathan. And you for sure should reach out and schedule something if you haven't already, so we can talk more in depth with a parent.